Christy and Kane were once the kind of couple people admired. They lived together in a small rented apartment with their 7 children, packed into narrow rooms filled with noise, laughter, and constant struggle. Life was not easy, but Christy believed marriage was about endurance. She had given her youth, her body, and her dreams to that family. After 7 children, her beauty faded not because she became ugly, but because life became heavy. And that was when everything changed. Kane started coming home late. Sometimes he didn't come home at all. Christy noticed the silence first, the coldness, the way he stopped looking at her. Soon, rumors followed. Kane had found someone new. Her name was Lydia. Lydia was younger, flashy, loud, and carefree, everything Christy no longer had time to be. Instead of understanding the sacrifices Christy made, Kane blamed her. He said she had lost herself. He said she was no longer attractive. What he never said was that she was tired, raising 7 children almost alone. When Kane finally left the house, he didn't tell Christy the truth. He said he had been posted to another place for work. He spoke calmly, almost convincingly. Christy believed him. Before he left, she pleaded with him to take them along, the children, the family, everything they had built together. Kane refused. He said the place was not convenient for children. He promised he would visit. He promised he would call. For the first month, he did. His calls came regularly, filled with reassurance. Christy held on to those calls like hope, but slowly, the calls reduced. Then excuses began. Work was too demanding. Transportation was difficult. Time was never enough. Months passed. Christy began to understand, not through words, but through silence. Kane was not posted anywhere. He had moved in with Lydia. The truth hit her quietly, but deeply. Instead of confronting him, Christy chose survival. She wiped her tears and looked at her children. Her firstborn was already 17 years old, mature beyond her age. She stepped up, helping to care for the younger ones, cooking, watching over them like a second mother. With that support, Christy made a decision. She started a thrift business. Every morning, she balanced school and selling clothes. Some days she attended lectures exhausted. Other days she sold thrift under the sun, counting small coins that meant food for the night. Life was hard, but Christy did not stop. She was raising children. She was building herself, and she was doing it alone. After years of saving little by little, Christy did something unbelievable. She bought land. It wasn't big, but it was hers. The day she went to the site for surveying, she stood alone on the empty land. The wind blew softly. For the first time in years, she remembered Kane. She wished they were buying the land together. She was filled with pain. She picked her phone and called him, but Lydia answered. Instead of respect, Lydia insulted her. She laughed at Christy's struggles. She mocked her body. She called her a finished woman. Christy said nothing. She ended the call and fell to the ground. That day, Christy didn't cry to people. She cried to nature. She spoke to the land. She spoke to the sky. She released every sorrow, the betrayal, the insults, the loneliness, the pain of being replaced. When she stood up, something inside her changed. She didn't curse anyone. She chose peace. Brick by brick, Christy built her house. Not with help from Kane. Not with pity from anyone. She worked harder. The children grew stronger watching their mother. By the time the house was completed, Christy was no longer the broken woman Kane left. She was educated, focused, and unstoppable. While Christy was rising, Lydia's stomach began to swell. People whispered. Illness followed. At the same time, Kine lost everything. His properties were seized. His money vanished. His friends disappeared. When Lydia became seriously ill, Kine remembered Christy. He came looking for her, but she was nowhere to be found. On the same day Christy graduated from university, Lydia died. The irony was painful. One woman's life ended. Another woman's life began again. Christy didn't celebrate Lydia's death. She simply closed that chapter. Months later, Kane finally found Christy. She was glowing not from beauty, but from peace. Kane begged. He apologized. He blamed temptation. But Christy had already healed. She told him nothing harsh. She only walked away. Christy eventually married a man who respected her. He was responsible, wealthy, and kind to her children. She didn't win because she took revenge. She won because she didn't give up. And that is how a woman who was abandoned for losing her beauty became a woman no one could ever replace again. But as time went on, Christy began to notice disturbing patterns about him. Despite his outward kindness, Jonathan was a narcissist, manipulative, and had a dark past. He had been responsible for the deaths of 3 women. When Christy finally confronted him, asking pointed questions about his past, the charming mask slipped. Jonathan's demeanor changed instantly. His smile turned cold, his eyes hard and dangerous. For the first time, Christy saw the real man behind the facade, a man capable of murder, a man who felt entitled to control life and death. Realizing the threat, Christy acted swiftly. She knew she couldn't confront him alone, but she also couldn't show fear. Quietly, she moved her children to a safe location, confiding only in trusted friends and family. She documented everything about Jonathan, his lies, his manipulations, and the dark secrets she had uncovered. Jonathan, frustrated and enraged, began plotting against her, determined to silence her before she exposed him. Every day became a tense game of cat and mouse. Christy had to navigate her own home and life cautiously, trusting no one outside her inner circle, aware that one wrong move could be fatal. But Christy's resilience and intelligence gave her the upper hand. She lured Jonathan into a situation where law enforcement could intervene safely, finally bringing him to justice before he could harm anyone else. Emerging from this nightmare, Christy made a firm decision. She would remain single, focusing entirely on raising her children and building a life of security, love, and empowerment. She understood that true strength sometimes meant survival, vigilance, and independence, and she had mastered all 3. Her children grew up witnessing her courage, learning that resilience was not just about enduring hardship, but about taking control of one's destiny, even in the face of life-threatening danger. Christy had survived betrayal, manipulation, and the very real threat of death, and in doing so, she became an unshakable symbol of strength and empowerment.